School of Homeopathy and CEO of homebook.com. Sir will be enlightening us today on the topic homeopathic approach in cosmetological disorder and clinical tips on daily practice. We are also joined today by our principal, Dr. Praveen Raj, our AAO, Dr. Pragnya Alva, and other faculty members. We warmly welcome you on behalf of Student Council. I also extend a heartfelt welcome to all our enthusiastic attendees. Without much further ado, I would like to hand it over to Dr. Mansoor Ali for the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Dear students, a very good evening to all of you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, it's audible, sir.
Okay, it's audible. Okay. So, first of all, I would like to thank the principal of the Alva Homoeopathic Medical College and the student council members and Sri Manish for inviting me to share some useful ideas with you. So, remember in the Master Hanuman and also my teacher and mentor, the former head of the Department of Repertory, Professor K.B. Ramesh. Today we'll discuss something about the scope of homeopathy in cosmeto-dermatological conditions. In the first 1 hour, I will present few cases, or I will discuss a methodology, how we can handle the different types of the cosmetological and cosmeto-dermatological conditions in our day-to-day clinical practice. Then we will have a discussion for 30 minutes. And I would like to be this as an interactive session rather than a one-way method of lecturing, since you might have a lot of doubts that I will try to clear. So, what is meant by the cosmetic dermatology? We treat the skin, hair, nails using a treatment that is meant to improve the patient's appearance, including the disease. We are not only curing the disease, but also improving the appearance of the patient. And why homeopathy in cosmetology? And that is also relevant. Because the demand for non-surgical cosmetic treatment has grown considerably in the recent years. So the conventional method, many of the cosmetological treatments that may require some type of surgery. Homeopathy, we are not doing any surgery, but simply giving the medicine and some external applications. And the second point, because of the recurring expenditure and the side effects of the existing methods of treatment, we want to pay regularly for the current conventional cosmetological treatment. But in homeopathy, once the acne is improved, no need of further treatment. Once the hair fall is improved or cured, then there is no need of further treatment. And these three girls, young beautiful girls, are my postgraduate scholars. They are always helping me in the cosmetological treatment. And their photograph appeared in a famous journal from Kerala, in the front cover of the famous journal, Deshabhimani from Kerala. And this is the poster of our cosmetology OPD. And we have a very good cosmeto-dermatology OPD in the Government Homeopathy Medical College, Calicut, running successfully since last 4 to 5 years. And this is also a career especially for the new generation homeopathy, a fast-growing field in homeopathy, because nowadays individuals are more concerned about their physical appearance. And in Calicut College, even the allopathy doctors, the cosmetologists, beauticians, hairdressers, etc., they are referring the patient to our college. So this may be a good career. If you would like to have a cosmetology clinic after the BHMS, that will be definitely successful. And today we'll discuss something about how to become a homeopathic cosmetologist, how we can handle the cosmetological complaints, and how we can handle the different dermatological complaints, and followed by some clinical tips at the end of the session. So the features of homeopathic cosmetology, that is less expensive comparing to the conventional method of cosmetological treatment. The homeopathic cosmetology treatment is less expensive, and we need only some few medicines and no recurring expenditure. So as I said earlier, once the acne is cured, there is no need of further treatment, and without any side effects. The conventional cosmetology treatment have a lot of side effects, but in homeopathy, that's this our dermatological treatments are without any side effects. And we have the scope in the following conditions. Currently, we are not using any external application, but in future, we are also planning a study based on some external application that is available in homeopathy, including some pattern products. So we have a scope in the hair fall of the head and face, alopecia, the premature grayness, thin hair, split hair, dandruff, lice, hirsutism, and the cracks in the palms and soles, CHLOASMA, then warts in different parts of the body, PHRENODERMA, acne, plus removal of the scar of acne. And we have very good scope in the scar removal of acne also. Then tinea versicolor, vitiligo, freckles, keloid, and the color consistency and the nature of the perspiration, its odor, etc. And especially about the scalp psoriasis. And in the nail, we can manage the brittle nail, deformed nails, fungal nail, psoriasis, discoloration of the nail. And we have some good remedies for the conventional cosmetic allergy, I mean for the side effects of the conventional cosmetology treatment, and also for the, some type of chemical allergy, and how to improve the complexion. That is also we'll discuss today, how to improve the complexion. So we have a very good database of this type of cases in our OPD. So first we'll discuss something about the alopecia, how to handle this type of cases. So this is a man of age, a boy, young boy, aged 19, and the alopecia that started 7 months back as alopecia areata leading to totalis. The hair fall first started from beard and extended to the head. And he undergone various treatments from different dermatologists in Calicut. They advised some tablets and cream, but didn't benefit. So these are all the rubrics that we took in this case. Face hair, falling of hair, whiskers, extremities, corns painful, nose, sneezing, morning, general hair, general head of the body, falling out, head, perspiration of the scalp. That means a prescription simply based on totality, with some specific rubric for the cosmeto-dermatological conditions. So initially we prescribed the remedy calcarea carb 200, and without much benefit, after 1 month we raised the potency into calcarea carb 1. Then after the calcarea carb 1, a new hair appeared in the head and beard, and within again after 1 month, almost the head and face covered. Then we again repeated the calcarea carb 10 1 dose. So a prescription simply based on the totality with some specific rubric. In this case, the fourth rubric is general head and the body falling out. That's a rubric from Murphy's repertory. All other rubrics are from synthesis repertory. So that means the falling of hair fall from different parts of the body. That's why we took that particular rubric. Hair, general, head and body. Okay. So this is the prescription simply based on the calcarea carb. And this is the first photograph on the left side, and the second photograph after the calcarea carb 10. Then third photograph, fourth photograph, fifth and sixth photograph. So the peculiarity of homeopathy cosmetological treatment, that means there is no side effect and also no recurring expenditure. Unfortunately, this patient has no recurrence of this complaint since last 2 to 3 years. So that's a peculiarity of homeopathy treatment. Once that is cured, then there is no need of further treatment. Another case of, in the case of female, 24 years, a sales girl in Calicut, alopecia totalis, and the complaint started after the allopathic treatment for a chronic fever. So we took the following rubrics in this case. head hair baldness. That means complete loss of hair. So always take specific rubrics. And if the patient has hair fall on certain area, like that of the vertex or that of the forehead, etc., you have to take that specific rubric only. Mind fastidious, mind anger easily, mind reserved, generalities, food and drinks, milk aversion, stomach appetite diminished, thirstless, dreams, dead of the. And always remember the sleep symptoms are very important because we don't know what we are doing the sleep. So dreams and symptoms during sleep, that is very important. And general's fever after. That means the complaint started after the fever. And general's medicine, allopathic abuse. Because that she took a lot of allopathic medication. So that may be the reason for this hair fall. Anyway, since last 7 months, she has this complaint. So we admitted this patient also in our IPD. And this is the second photograph. Third day after the arsenicum album 200. New hair appeared. And the first hairs are of gray hair. Don't worry about that. It will become black. So 3 days after the arsenicum album. Then after 2 weeks. Then after arsenicum album 1. And some of the left photograph, some more hair to be appeared on the near to the ear. And this is the fourth photograph. And almost all the hair now dark and this entire area. In this case also there is no recurrence since last 3 to 4 years. So that's the beauty of homeopathy. Simple prescription based on the totality, but we have to select some specific rubric. So today in the entire case we will discuss some specific rubric so that you can replicate prescription arsenicum album 200. After 3 days, in the IPD itself, the hair started growing. Then arsenicum album 1 month, and after 1 month again 1 month. Usually we are giving medicine, 1 dose of the medicine for 1 month, followed by some bland tablets for the rest of the days. Then it's a third case, hair fall after dengue fever. So it is very easy to treat this type of specific prescription based on the specific etiology. Hair fall after dengue fever or hair fall after this means the typhoid, pneumonia, whatever it may be, we have some specific rubric. So this is a condition of the patient. And a middle-aged lady, hair fall started after dengue fever, duration since last 3 months she has this complaint. And in this case we prescribe the remedy acidum fluoricum. And always remember, acidum fluoricum is a specific remedy that is mentioned in our literature for the hair complaints of the hair fall after any type of fevers like the dengue fever, pneumonia, typhoid, whatever it may be. If the etiology is correct, you will definitely get the results. So this is the result. This is the previous slide. While the patient comes to OPD, and this is the second slide after the acidum fluoricum 10. So always remember, take some specific rubrics, you will definitely get the results. Rather than taking the rubric head, hair falling, that contains a lot of remedies. Suppose the hair fall after changing the color of the hair, some type of cosmetic application, then the remedy is kali, iodatum. Then hair fall in children, the most important remedy is natrium muriaticum. Then combing the hair when a bunch of hair coming after combing. Then there is another group of remedy. Then delivery after, usually after the 3rd month of delivery, the female start, because of the hormonal imbalance, hair fall will start. So platina, sulfur, etc. are some of the specific remedies for the complaints after hair fall after the delivery. Then disease after exhausting diseases following. Thallium metallicum is one of the best remedy after chronic exhausting diseases, the hair fall. Then see fever after. Acidum fluoricum is a remedy for the hair fall after fever. Then grief from. And another important remedy rubric is hands full in. And the patients usually explain like this, doctor, I have a bunch of hair after the bathing or after combing. That means hair fall after phosphorus and tuja. Then hard beetle. And remember the remedy during the complaints hair fall during the lactation. The remedy is natrium muriaticum. See the difference. Now hair fall during menopause. The most important remedy is sepia followed by lycopodium and phosphorus. So depending upon the period, like the lactation, like the delivery, like the menopause, like the pregnancy, the medicines will change. So this type of specific rubric you have to take in addition to the mental journals and physical journals of the patient. Then the ovarian imbalance from, that means after with the PCOD or some other type of uterine complaints, the two important remedies are the lycopodium and phosphorus. And also with the thyroid complaints, usually the patient has hair fall. Then also the two important remedy, lycopodium and phosphorus. Then pain in the head with, that means the chronic headache with the hair fall. Then the remedies, antimonium crudum, nitric acid and silicea. Then pregnancy during, see the remedies, lachesis, said Kunzli's dot remedy also. In the above, in the top, menopause, that means the sepia, but the hair fall during pregnancy, that is a lachesis. Then hair fall in spots, that means alopecia areata. The hair fall that in spots start appearing in spots. Then replaced by the gray hair, white hair after typhoid. During typhoid, the remedies, acidum, fluoric. So this is alopecia areata. In that case, you have to take the rubrics, head, hair, falling, spots in. And majority of these rubrics are available in the base repertories like synthesis, this cancer repertory, the Boger or the therapeutic pocket book. And you will get some good number of rubrics in the complete repertory by Rocker and Wood, or the synthesis repertory, or in Murphy's repertory. So this is alopecia areata leading to alopecia totalis. And suppose the hair fall is on the face, in the head itself, on the different parts of the head, you see the remedies are entirely different. If the hair fall is more on the forehead, you have to take the rubric, head, hair, falling, forehead. If it is on the occiput, the remedies are entirely different. And on the sides, temples, vertex front. See, the medicines are entirely different depending upon the location of the hair fall. So always remember about that. And the gray becoming, the hair fall, the hair become gray, especially in children or adolescent age group, then we have to take this rubric. Prematurely, there is one more sub-rubric. So in this slide, I would like to emphasize that depending upon the location of the hair fall, the medicines are entirely different. Then there is a splitting of hair, and that is mainly because of this vitamin and mineral deficiency. Splitting of hair, the most important remedy is Zinc metallic. Then for the thin hair, the most important remedy that is we found very effective, that is a silicea, followed by the remedies like the sorinum, tarindil, etc. And there is a rubric in complete repertory, that is a head, hair, thin. In this case, also silicea is the most important remedy for the thinning of the hair, followed by some other remedies. Then headache plus hair fall, that's a chronic headache plus hair fall. This rubric is represented in synthesis repertory, complete repertory also. That's antimonium crudum, hepasol, nitric acid, sepia, silicea, etc. The remedies. Chronic headache, that results in hair fall. So why I am discussing this type of specific rubric is that you can replicate or reproduce the results. Suppose the hair fall is on the face. So there are different rubrics represented in the chapter face of the cancer repertory, synthesis, Murphy, and complete repertory. Hair fall from whiskers, eyebrows, mustache, whiskers. Again, on the some medicines are there in the whiskers. So depending upon the location, you have to take the rubric, whether it is from the mustache or from the eyebrows or from the beard, falling of hair from beard or whiskers, etc. And hair fall. Now we will discuss something about the growth of hair on the face. So that's otherwise called as hirsutism. We'll discuss in detail later, but just note down this important rubric. That's also in the face chapter. Growth of hair, children in, women in. These are the two important rubrics. Children in, women in. And some other remedies like the Tuja is also a well-represented remedy in for this type of growth of hair on face of children and in women. Now, what's the role of external application in the case of hair fall? So first we discussed about the hair fall. I would like to conclude something about the hair fall. If you have any doubt, you can just note it down and at the end we'll discuss. So never prescribe a costly external application because a simple coconut oil is enough. The psychology or the technique behind this type of external application is that applying any type of oil, whether it is a coconut oil or arnica oil, jaborandi oil, whatever it may be, at least for 10 to 15 minutes before bath in a dry scalp. Because of this constant and this soft massaging, the blood circulation will improve in the scalp, and that improvement of the blood circulation results in the growth of hair. So that's the only technique behind the external application. So never prescribe a very costly external application. You can prescribe some arnica hair oil, jaborandi hair oil, whatever it may be, that's available in the market at affordable cost. No benefit from the high cost external applications. But we have to advise the patient to gentle massage at least for 10 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes daily in a dry scalp, preferably in the morning. If the patient has no time, then they can have it the night also. So that will stimulate the blood circulation. So that results in the growth of hair. That's only technique or the psychology behind the external application. So always give the internal remedy by selecting the specific rubric based on the etiology or based on the location or based on the period of the patient. You will get the definite results. So that's in brief about the hair. Now we will discuss some other cases. And almost all the cosmetological complaints, dermatological complaints are of cosmetological importance also. And this is comparatively a rare condition that is failed in allopathy treatment. That means granuloma annulare, raised reddish skin-colored lesions that appear in different parts of the body. And this we confirmed after the biopsy only. That's failed in allopathic medication of years. And elevated eruptions all over the body. And the complaint started after a surgery to the cancer of the larynx. And the patient has a past history of the cancer of the throat, that plus hoarseness, and the past history of smoking. And biopsy, atrophic dermis, basophilic and collagen fibers that's appeared. So the complaint started after the surgery to the cancer of the larynx. And in complete dynamics, that's a complete report. There is a specific rubric for that condition, granuloma annulare. The remedy is melandrinum. So that's the beauty of the repertory. If you are searching the different repertories or the available repertories, you will get the definite rubric and the definite medicines rather than prescribing simply based on our limited knowledge. So never hesitate to refer the repertory in front of the patient. You can refer as a textbook or as a software in front of the patient and find out the most appropriate rubric or most appropriate remedy. Otherwise, we will prescribe from our limited knowledge of the materia medica. And we raised the potency into melandrinum 200, but we didn't get the desired improvement, but only slight improvement. So we prescribed the remedy carcinosinum 1 as an intercurrent remedy. So according to the PUSTULAR, the carcinosinum is a very good remedy, but there is a past history of cancer or family history of cancer. So in this case, there is a past history of cancer of the larynx. So we prescribed the carcinosinum 1. And according to PUSTULAR and other eminent practitioners, never prescribe a remedy in a case of active cancer, the remedy carcinosinum, but with a family history or past history of cancer. So this remedy wonderfully acted after an intercurrent dose of carcinosinum 200. So, dear students, one thing I would like to remind you that it's very difficult to practice without a proper knowledge in the repertory at this era. And for example, during Hanuman's time, we had only 100 remedies. We had only 100 remedies during the time of Hanuman. And Hanuman and his few disciples proved this limited number of medicines, reproved this limited number of medicine and published the materia medica. So that means they are very familiar with each and every symptoms of this limited 100 remedies. They proved, reproved and published the materia medica. Very familiar with this limited number of remedies. Still, they found it very difficult to practice. So that is why Hanuman instructed the jar to create a repertory. Now we have more than 4,000 remedies. For an average man of intelligence like us, it is very difficult to remember all the symptoms of all the drugs from Abies canadensis to Zinga metallica. If we can remember all the symptoms of all the drugs from Abies canadensis to Zinga metallica, all the symptoms, no need of repertory. And for example, the sulfur have more than 3,600 symptoms are there for sulfur. We are studying this remedy from first year to final BHMS and also during the post-graduation and also for the competitive examination. still we can remember only 15 to 20 symptoms. So what happened to the rest of the symptoms? So for an average man of intelligence like us, it is very difficult to remember all the symptoms of all the remedies to make a comparison with the patient's symptom. So even Hahnemann found it very difficult. So that is why we need a repertory. But the proper selection of the rubric, that's very, very important. That is the only criteria to get that. So this is the second photograph after the malandrinum. So this is the first photograph. Then second photograph after the malandrinum and third photograph after the malandrinum. According to the modern medicine or the conventional medicine, there are currently no cure for pemphigus vulgaris. But homeopathy offers 100% results in majority of the cases of the pemphigus vulgaris. So this is a patient about 55 years. See, the date of admission is 14 and the date of discharge is 22. Remember? Date of admission is 14, date of discharge is 22. Pemphigus since last 2 months. Started in the lower limb, now all over the body. So we took the following rubrics in this case. Skin eruption, pemphigus. That is a specific rubric that is available in almost all the repertories. Mind loquacity, mind talking, then mind fastidious, general history, tuberculosis, food, sour, aversion. There is a past history of tuberculosis. It is better to consider always the past history and the family history for a better prescription. Food, sour, aversion. So this is the first photograph at the time of admission. This type of lesion all over the body. Now, after the repertorization, we got the remedies in natrium muriaticum, sulfur, and lachesis. These are the 3 remedies we got after the repertorization. We prescribed the remedy lachesis 30 on 16th and discharged on 22nd. That means on nearly 1 week only. So this is a case of 2017. Up to this time, the patient has no relapse. So that's the beauty of homeopathy. So we took some simple rubrics, some specific rubric based on the past history, mind, and the physical journal. So a mental journal, physical journal, particular, and the complaints rubrics related to that particular complaint. So within 1 week. So this is the photograph at the time of discharge of the patient. So simple treatment, permanent cure. Skin eruption pemphigus is the rubric. 53 remedies are there. The main remedy, the most important remedy is lachesis, followed by some other remedies. So prescribed based on the totality. So this is a case of cosmetic allergy. This is one of the famous actor from Calicut. Usually in the villain role we can find out this patient, but we are not disclosing the name of the patient. So this black area that started after the using some cosmetics during for the preparation of a movie. So it is very easy to manage the side effects of the conventional cosmetic treatment. Suppose some children or some young youth after the youth festival or the college festival, after using the henna or after using some makeup, they might have some reaction. So it is very easy to manage in that case. So this is the second photograph after the remedy. So in this case, we prescribe the remedy Bovistem. There are mainly 3 remedies are for the cosmetic allergy, for the henna, for the complaints from henna or complaints from the makeup during the Arts and Science Festival, whatever it may be. Apis, arsenicum album, and Bovis. In majority of the cases, we'll get 90% of the cases will get good results from the Bovistem. So this rubric is available in all the 3 major repertories, like synthesis, Murphy, and complete repertory. So this is a case of acne rosacea. Remember, treating acne is comparatively simple, but treating the acne rosacea is somewhat difficult. Not so easy. This is a complaint of since 4 years. 4 years. So that means painful reddish acne leaving dark spots. And in this case, the past history of meningitis and the anemia also. We started the remedy sulfur 0 bar 3 and complaints ameliorated, and later after a few months, 3 to 4 months, we again prescribe 1 dose of sulfur in order to avoid the recurrence. So in complaints of the face, always start with the potency or prescribe some 30, 200 or 1, whatever it may be in medicated pill only. It's better to giving drop dosages for the complaints of the face, because sometimes there is a small aggravation that also creates some irritation to the patient because they can't go to the job or they can't go to the college, etc. So dose and repetition we'll discuss at the end. So we took the rubric face eruption, acne, rosacea. There is a specific rubric for this condition: face eruption, acne, rosacea. Then painful eruption, and the patient is anemic also. Hemoglobin count is very low. So that's why we took the rubric. Generalities, anemia. And these are all some simple rubrics that's available even in Kent's repertory. So this is a condition after sulfur 1. Almost all the complaints relieved, only some minor lesions, some reddish appearance of the nose only. And see, even the complexion of the patient is also improved. So this is another case of acne in a male patient, a young individual. Pustular, painful, and that creates a dark discoloration and oily face also. And the patient has aversion to fish and the past history of eczema and dust allergy. So the oily nature of the face that we can improve to a great extent. The oily appearance of the face. And the dark discoloration, painful acne, pustular acne, and we prescribe the remedy based on the symptoms repertories and prescribe Natum-Auriaticum 200, one medicated pill. Then after 1 month we give SL only, and after 3 to 4 months later, only 4, 5, 6, we prescribe the remedy Natum-Auriaticum 10. So in this case, we took the rubric face eruption pustules, food and dense fish aversion, then general sora. That means based on his past history, we took the rubric general sora, and the face greasy. Face greasy is the rubric for the oily face. So suppose if your patient has an oily face, you can prescribe you can took the rubric face greasy in addition to the acne and other complaints. The greasiness or oily nature of the face is always a distressing symptom, a distressing background for the acne. So this is the first photograph and the second photograph. And for the acne, scar acne, we have some good rubrics. Along with the indicated remedy, thiocyanum 3x is a good remedy. We can prescribe along with 3x or 6s, along with the indicated remedy that has some good property to dissolve the scar. But we have some specific rubric for the scar. And this is a case of pustular acne. Painful, leaving the dark discoloration. That is pustular acne. So for acne, we have some specific rubrics. In addition to the mental journals, physical journals, and other particulars, we have to consider these rubrics also. So the acne that aggravates menses after, menses before, or in delayed menses, or during menses. So especially in certain girls, that acne aggravates before menses and during menses. So we can take the appropriate rubric in this case. See, the remedies are entirely different for before menses and during menses. And during irregular menses, then papules with indurated, persistent, then pregnancy aggravates during the acne that aggravates during pregnancy. And there are really a different group of remedies are there. Then acne during puberty, hepacel, podophyllum, and asteria rubens. These are the 3 major remedies for the acne or the pimples during puberty. And one advice I would like to give you, that's always take the rubric acne. That's the correct terminology. You will get face eruption pimples, face eruption acne. 2 rubrics you will get, but the correct terminology is face eruption acne. Then the acne punctata that we will discuss later. That means otherwise called as the comedones. Then acne rosacea. A specific group of remedies are there. Then scar with, that means along with the acne, the patient has scar. And if the patient has scar, only the remedies are entirely different. Remember, one side the patient has scar mark, and along with the scar mark, in other side the patient has acne also. Then the rubric is face eruption, acne, scar with. The most important remedy is silesia. then stomach complaint with then rubric in the lower part. Symmetrical distribution of the acne. Arnica is one of the specific remedy for the symmetrical distribution of acne. For other skin complaint, the symmetrical distribution, sepia and syphilinum are the main remedies. But for the acne, symmetrical distribution on the face, the remedy is arnica. Then something more about the scar. So in this case, we discussed acne with the scar. Silicea is the most important remedy. Then depressed scar. The most important remedy, that is a Kali bichromicum. In this case, probably currently they have no acne, but the scar only. So Kali bichromicum is an important remedy for the depressed scar. Then below that, elevated scar, acidum fluoricum is a remedy. Acidum fluoricum is a remedy for the elevated type of scar after the acne. Then after the usual type of normal type of scar mark after the acne, the remedy is Kali bromatum or any type of eruptions. Then for a normal acne, the remedy is Kali bichromicum. For a depressed acne, Kali bromatum. For a depressed acne, the remedy is Kali bichromicum. For elevated acne, fluoric acid and badiaga. But if it is associated with the acne also, then the remedy is silicea. See, the remedies are somewhat different. So that's in brief about the scar. And there is some other subrubrics for the can utilize for the keloid also, for the hard scar, then painful scar, something like that. Now, what about the role of diet in acne? The management of pimples or in the management of acne? What about what's in particular about the role of diet? And people have a common belief that the fatty food, the rich food, that aggravates the acne. Currently, people for acne have no direct relation with the food. That will not aggravate by taking the fatty food, etc. But the most important distressing thing, that's the application of oil. Never apply oil on the face if your patient has acne. And also, we have to minimize the quantity of application of the oil on the hair also, especially if the patient has acne. So oil is application of oil. That's one of the most distressing thing for the in order to get that situation in the case of acne. We get remedy in single, simple, or dosages that's enough for the cure of the acne. Never prescribe any type of cosmetological, even the homeopathic application. If you want to get a complete cure of the acne, never prescribe any type of external application, even the homeopathic external applications. So diet, and one of the diet that we are usually recommending in this type of cases, that is a vitamin C rich food. That means this citrus, this anar, oranges, etc. That is good for this type of means to improve the complexion and also to improve the acne conditions. So that's in brief about the role of the diet, external application, and oil. Always advise the patient not to apply oil on the face. Now, comedone, that otherwise called as blackhead. This is also another type of acne. But remember, this type of dark blackheads are there. That is why it is called as comedones and blackheads. So in that case, never take the rubric acne, but you have to take the rubric comedones. Face eruption, comedone, that is a direct rubric with the Gunsley's dot also. Some good remedies are represented in that rubric also. And this is a case of vitiligo. In vitiligo cases also, it is better to prescribe based on the totality, based on the mental journals, physical journals and particulars of this patient, instead of some specific remedies. Otherwise, it is very difficult to get a complete cure if you are running behind some specific remedies in vitiligo. And this is complaint of 22 years, complaints since last 22 years. And all over the body, redness, and that seems to be red on exposure to sun. Started after the marriage, tortured by in-laws, and the past history of goiter, and the patient has aversion to meat, left-sided numbness, and the patient has, because of the torture in the husband house, one suicide attempt. And we prescribed the remedy natrium muriaticum tenem in this case after the rubritization. And unfortunately, the patient discontinued. Then after some time again, the patient came and prescribed the natrium muriaticum tenem. And this complaint that's so many dark dots appearing. And this is the way of improving in the case of vitiligo. This type of small dark and brown dots appears and they will vanish. Then one case of PHRENODERMA. So what is meant by PHRENODERMA? Usually you can see this type of horny eruptions on the elbows and knees and forehead. Horny eruptions on the elbows, knee and forehead. So this child is this lady is obstinate, and that's found on more on the right arm. Eruptions of reddish fold on the elbow, warts in the fingers. Based on this, we prescribe tujatennum, and with 1 dose of tujatennum, see the difference. So always remember, the PHRENODERMA is mainly due to vitamin A and folic acid deficiency. And many of the cosmetological or dermatological complaints are because of some deficiency disorders. So we have to correct that deficiency in addition to giving the remedy. Then we will get a complete cure also. So PHRENODERMA, basically vitamin A and folic acid. So we have to address the liver and also green leafy vegetables. In green leafy vegetables, that will correct the vitamin A and folic acid that's abundant in liver also. So the main rubric for this PHRENODERMA, that's rubric is available in synthesis repertory, in cancer repertory also, skin eruption, horny, ranunculus bulbosus and antimonium crudum. And in complete repertory, synthesis repertory and Murphy's repertory, we will get the rubric extremities, eruption, dry, perforaceous. Perforations means horny-like, elbows, polycranum. The 2 important remedies are Asteria rubens and sepia. So Asteria rubens and sepia seems to be one of these some specific remedy for this type of PHRENODERMA. But we have to correct this vitamin deficiency. If there is sometimes the assimilation is a problem, then our medicine is enough. But if the patient is not taking the green leaf vegetables or the deficiency of the folic acid, we have to substitute with the folic acid or vitamin that's available in our homeopathy pharmacies or by food. So this is a case of warts. Now we'll discuss something about the warts. One by one, we are covering the major areas. In warts also, we should be very careful. Then we'll get the result. Usually, the majority of the common people think that homeopathy has a good result in warts. But if you are not taking the correct method of prescription, you will never get a desired result in warts also. And this is a case of warts all over the body. 10 years, so the warts of 10-year duration, large, soft and hard warts. These 3 types that's available, no pain, no itching, and the complaint started after renal transplantation of the patient. So that is why we took the rubric, toxicity, steroid poisoning ailments from Murphy's repertory. Because at that time they usually will give a lot of steroids as an immune suppressants. So toxicity, steroid poisoning ailments from skin, warts of skin. That means warts all over the body. That is why we took the rubric. Skin warts. So we got the remedy like sepia, sulfur, etc. And initially we prescribed sepia 1, and then we, as an intercurrent remedy, we prescribed the remedy cortisone. Cortisone 30, 200, 1, etc. that is available in almost all the homeopathy pharmacies. That's a very good remedy for the bad effects of prescribing or taking a lot of steroids. So cortisone 30 we prescribed. Then again we prescribed sepia 10 in this case. And there is one good rubric in the complete repertory. And the rubric is the warts all over the body. There is only one remedy that
Hello, sir. Sir, I think your audio got cut. So we can't hear you.
okay.
Yes, it's audible.
So sorry for yeah, that's because of the power failure. Sorry for the interruption.
It's okay, sir.
Okay, so this is the condition after the our prescription, the remedy causticum. So another case of large warts on the head. See the size of the warts. The root is also very, in a broad area. So we took the rubrics in this case: head warts, skin warts flat, head pain orders from strong, because the patient has a headache from strong orders. Generalities, heat, flushes of menopause after. These are the 4 rubrics we took in this case, and we got the remedy sepia and sulfur. So see the condition of the patient after the sepia. 1 dose for the first dose of sepia. So this is the first photograph. So this is the second photograph. This is the third photograph. And this is the last. The entire warts disappeared. So what's on the forehead? 8 months. That's more on the right side. And the patient has the past history of coronary artery disease and hypertension under allopathy. And the patient is having this menopausal hot flushes, knee pain that aggravates on bending, headache from strong smell. So we prescribed only one dose of sepia in this case. So always remember the location of the wart in this case, and also in the previous case, wart on the entire body. So warts on the face, this type of black warts. We have some specific remedies for this type of black warts that we will discuss. Then warts on the upper arm. So warts on the hand, so linear warts. Warts all over the body. This may appear on the back. And warts in nail, warts close to the nails and fingers. So depending upon the location of the warts, always remember the remedies are entirely different. See the rubric for the head warts on the scalp. The most important remedy in this case is sepia. So for the previous slide, we prescribed sepia 10 ml only. And warts scalp hard, then the remedy is calcarea flow. Scalp large one and many small ones. Again, the remedy is sepia. So Tuja is not at all an important remedy for the warts on the head, but the sepia is the most important remedy. Then the rubric neck warts condylomata. There are a lot of people with the warts on the neck, soft warts on the neck. The most important 2 remedies are sepia and nitric acid. Then the rubric for the soft warts. There are different types of warts are there. For soft warts or the skin type, the rubric skin warts soft. Antimonium cruda, calcarea carb, nitric acid and Tuja are the main remedies for the soft warts. Then warts on the face, another group of remedies like causticum and Delcamara are the remedies. On the chin, forehead, lips, nitric acid is the remedy. Warts on the lip. Then on mouth around, again the remedies sorinum and sepia. Then remember warts nails close to. The most important remedy is causticum followed by lycopodium. Warts appearing towards the nail, we will get in more than 80% of the cases, we will get a definite result from the causticum itself. And rest of the cases, you may need the remedy lycopodium. Then what of the hand? The Delcamara is the remedy. Then back of the hand, natron carb, natron or natron sulfur, etc. are the remedies for the back of the hands, knuckles. Again, on the palm of the hands, the remedies Delcamara. So always remember, depending upon the location of the warts, the remedies are entirely different. So always select a specific rubric or the remedy that has some specific affinity for a particular location. Then you will get 100% result. Then one case of ichthyosis. Ichthyosis, otherwise called as the fish brain skin or the fish scale appearance of the skin. And universal ichthyosis is also there. As case of one of our students, that is a lean, emaciated patient, this girl, chilly patient, menses delayed, and we prescribed phosphorus 1m in this case, and with 1 dose of phosphorus 1m. So see, you can prescribe the hypotency in the case of warts, ichthyosis, etc., but never prescribe a hypotency or the repeated dosage in the case of acne or some other sophisticated complaints that may result in aggravation. So we prescribe phosphorus 1m in this case. This is the first photograph and this is the second photograph after the phosphorus 1m. It's a case of eczema capitis. And the main remedy that is for the eczema capitis that's represented in our literature is meserium. We prescribed only 1 dose of meserium, 200 in medicated pill only. So this is a condition after one dose of Bacterium 200. So this CHLOASMA, that means the brownish or the blackish discoloration on either side of the face and nostrils. So this is a photograph before and after. So we took the case with the rubric skin discoloration, CHLOASMA. And the patient has headache and the varicose vein, then tumors of the uterus, that means the fibroid uterus, and gallstones also. So in this case, initially we prescribed the remedy with the sepia, and later we changed the remedy into lycopodium 1, considering the gallstone and the myoma of the uterus. That's why we got the best result. CHLOASMA may appear in male also. So select the rubric for this type of discoloration. Face CHLOASMA, there is a rubric is there, and always go through the sub-rubrics. As I said earlier, depending upon the period of the patient, then this is basically based on some hormonal imbalance. Never the external application usually will never get any result for this CHLOASMA from the external application. So CHLOASMA, the main rubric, there is sepia, conium maculatum are the rubric. Then CHLOASMA pregnancy in, the remedy is sepia. Then yellow spot CHLOASMA gravidarum, that means the pregnancy, that means only spot, the CHLOASMA that appearing in spots like Lycopodium, Noxomica and sepia. And there is another rubric in the skin chapter also, that's a CHLOASMA. And there is a good sub-rubric below that, CHLOASMA during the climactic period, during menopausal period, the remedy is plumb metallic. So in the above case, CHLOASMA during pregnancy, the remedies are sepia and conium. But in CHLOASMA during the climactic period or during this menopausal period, the remedy is plumb metallic. And there is a good rubric in synthesis repertory. Face CHLOASMA, menopausal period in, the remedy is plumb metallica. Sun aggravates. This type of lesions that aggravates from the sun, the most important remedy is cadmium sulfur. And the face CHLOASMA, there is another rubric in synthesis repertory. The above rubric is from Murphy and this rubric is from synthesis repertory. Pregnancy aggravates during, see the remedy is sepia. Sun and wind aggravates, the remedy is cadmium sulfide. So this type of lesions or the CHLOASMA or the dark brownish lesion that aggravates from the sun, exposure to sun, the main remedy is cadmium sulfur. So these are some cases of warts before and after. Only 2 is remaining. And we took the rubric skin cicatrizes, itching, skin, keloid, because that keloid has severe itching. That's why we took the rubric skin, cicatrizes, itching. Multiple, more than 6 numbers are there, and after the acidum fluoricum, only 2 is remain. The patient is still under our treatment. So homeopaths should see opportunity in every difficulty, but not a difficulty in every opportunity. Homeopaths should see opportunity in every difficulty, but not a difficulty in every opportunities. And there are a lot of things to discuss. I think we can have some discussion. And one way method of lecturing is not good since you might have a lot of doubt. There are many slides are here, but that may require more time that we can think about other time. But since if you have any doubt, we can discuss it now itself. I think Mr. Manish, that's more better.
Yes, sir. Yes,
if you have no doubt, I can continue for some more time, no issue.
If anybody having any doubt, any question, they can put their question in the chat box or they can raise their hand so that we can unmute them.
Dear students, you can ask any questions. Don't worry about that. If I know the answer, I will give you. So I am always interested to be an interactive session rather than have a one way method of lecturing. And you can also put in the chat box also if you have any doubt.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, definitely. I can hear you.
Yeah, sir. It was a very good, knowledgeable session regarding pathological parts. Sir, I have a doubt regarding Do we have any scope in case of any this post-surgical scars, like improving the scars like that for burns, etc.? I'm asking.
Scars of?
Post-surgical scars, sir.
Scar in which area?
Like we'll have this hernia surgery and all, and in abdomen we'll have that big scars, and
definitely.
after
Yeah,
C-section.
yeah.
So to improve that scars, do we have any scope like with our medicines?
Yeah, that means you have to start the medication at least immediately after the surgery, not after 3 to 4 years. In that case, we'll never get a result. But after within week or within month, if we are starting the remedy and prescribing the remedy, that means cicatrices. That's a rubric for this type of scar marks. Cicatrices operation after. That is there. And along with that, you can prescribe the thiocyanine 3x or 6s as an adjuvant remedy. You will definitely get the result within weeks or months, but not after 3 to 4 years of scar mark.
Okay, sir.
You got the idea?
Okay. Yes, I got it, sir. And one more doubt, sir. In treating this dermatological cases, do we have any particular pattern or mode of treatment or regimen that we are following? Sir has mentioned about that supplementing the deficiency things like folic acid and all. In all cases of dermatological aspects, do we follow such methods, or is there any particular mode of treatment like we have to do, or we have to take any precautions along with our medicines?
No, that depends upon the condition only. If there is a deficiency that associated with it, then only we can need to give the required food or supplements only. And that is not only in the dermatological conditions also. For example, the prolapse of rectum. That is a common complaint in some children. And that is mainly because of iron deficiency anemia. So we have to give the remedy, our constitutional remedy, and also if needed, ferrum metallicum 3x, etc. And similarly, some other complaints like the pica, desire for the slide pens or the pencils, papers, etc. are because of some deficiency, the iron deficiency anemia. So we have to correct that. And this is not only in dermatological condition, but in other cases also. For example, the menorrhagia, profuse menses or the intermenstrual bleeding. And one of the main reasons for that is anemia. If you are giving an iron tonic or ferrum metallicum 3x, that may subside. But we need to prescribe the constitutional remedy in order to get a good result. So that's everything depend upon the condition of the dermatological or whatever it may be, the condition only. Not in all cases, we need to give the supplements.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you got the idea?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Then by Dr. Avinash, milia in face, milia management. What is that actually you mean by milia? Milia means Dr. Avinash, Mr. Avinash, can you explain? So, it's a prickly heat. You mean by milia? You can unmute your mic.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's a raised eruption under the eyes, below the eyes, or in and around the face. Bump-like.
Bump-like. That is otherwise called as xanthelasma. Am I right?
Sir?
I have one slide on xanthelasma. It is otherwise called. If milia, I don't know exactly what's the terminology milia. So xanthelasma, there is a condition that is usually found below the eyes and around the eyes, and that is usually associated with the high content of cholesterol. But that is also found without any cholesterol level also. So the two important remedies that is mentioned in our literature is one is graphitis, another one is magnesium areaticum, that is represented in our literature for the xanthelasma. And Dr. Praveen, I have 3 questions you can ask.
Yeah.
You can unmute your mic.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. Good evening. And it was really nice session. So I have three questions. One question regarding the case of kinky gas, and you prescribed Atomu and then lycosis at the end, and patient was really better. So just wanted to know about the indication from the natrium, and then you select lachesis. Just the curiosity how you select rubric especially. That was my first question. And okay, we will finish with the first answer. Then we will ask.
Okay, definitely. So the criteria in the repertorization, that means there are some criteria. That means never give a remedy that covered the maximum number of rubrics, or never give the remedy that has that appeared on the top. That is not the criteria. But the remedy that have covered major symptoms for the main repertorizations, and also the symptoms that found in the potential differential field, that's the criteria. Even though the natrium we got a higher mark in that case, we prescribed a lachesis, and because the patient is loquacious, and moreover the lachesis is the only 3-mark remedy out of 51 remedies for the pemphigus. So that is some relevance. That lachesis has some specific action on the skin. You got the idea?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So my another question is nowadays we have many patients like after burn there are many ulcers, non-healing ulcers, and the saturates and some keloids after the burn. And even though we have some nowadays we have now the patients, they have many tattoos on the body, and then they remove with that needle, and then the scars get formed on the skin. So sir, please guide regarding these cases of burn ulcers and the scars and the keloids after tattoos on the body, please.
Okay, so in the case of scar, the medicine is entirely different. We have discussed about the acidum fluoricum, calibachromicum, caliprometum, silicea, etc. for the scar. But for the scar mark and the discoloration after the burns, the most important remedy that is mentioned in our literature, and we verified in many cases also, and even we can avoid the plastic surgery, the remedy is causticum. Causticum is the most important remedy for the burns and the discoloration or the scar mark after the burns. Then the third question.
Yes, the tattoo one. The scar by the tattoo.
Scar by the tattoo. So we have no experience on the scar by the tattoo, because the tattoo people are comparatively very less in Kerala. I have no experience.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your response. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Then one question by Dr. Navya. That's crawling sensation on head after herpes zoster. Navya, can you explain a little bit whether there is a pain or a crawling sensation? Navya, you can unmute your mic. Or the admin can unmute all the mics, no issue. So it's only limited number of participants.
Okay.
Navya, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, crawling sensation.
Sir. The patient had taken the allopathic treatment, and after that, the patient me only for the age 73 female, and she had only the sensation, and is just that she was so irritated with this, and after allopathic treatment, she had this complaint. So what do with this, sir?
Yeah, that means the crawling as a type of sensation, not the pain. Am I right?
Only that sensation she is having. Because she is so much irritated, she can't be irritated from day till.
Okay. So there is no direct rubric for that condition in our literature. So if that's a type of worm type of complaints, then the most important remedy that is mentioned in our literature is cocaine. Cocainum, that is otherwise called as cocaine bug sensation.
Okay, sir.
So yeah, the cocainum that you can try in this case, and coca is also another remedy. There are two remedies represented, but the main remedy we found it effective in this type of crawling sensation on the skin. That remedy is cocainum.
Okay.
But if it is a pain, there are a lot of other remedies are there after the herpes.
There is no pain as such, only the sensation. That is irritating.
Okay. Then you can try cocainum or coca, which one is available in your pharmacy.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Then one question by Avinash. Excess dandruff with the hair fall. What all rubrics can be taken? So dandruff, that's also another thing that we can manage with the great success, because conventional treatment or external application is not at all beneficial for a complete cure of the dandruff. So we have some direct rubric for that. Head dandruff hair fall with. That rubric is available in Murphy's repertoire only, and the most important remedy, that is Tuja. Another remedy is Sanicula. So Avinash, you got the rubric. Another remedy, the rubric that is available, that's depending upon the nature of the dandruff, we have to prescribe. Dandruff with itching. In some patients, they have severe itching because of the dandruff. Then the remedy, that is the most important remedy, is Medorinum. That is represented in head, hair, dandruff, itching with. Then offensive dandruff, then scaly dandruff, powdery dandruff. There are different sub-rubrics are there. So we have to take the sub-rubrics under the main rubric, dandruff. Avinash, you got the idea? The rubrics? Avinash, can you hear me? Okay, any more questions from any others? You can ask any questions related to the cosmetology or dermatology. If I know the answer, I will give you. If you have no more questions, we can have some more time. We can, okay.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, like in case of like well-selected case, like if we usually prescribe in higher potencies and all, like if we see like lot of aggravation, like we can do like frequent repetition in 50 millesmal potencies.
So we are talking about the dose and potency. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, dose and potency. We should take some. We should be very careful. I will explain it, that everybody should understand how we can have this dose and potency. Just a second, I will share. Can you view the slides?
Yes,
okay. Yeah, regarding the dose and potency, give minute dose of remedy. Even though you are prescribing the LM potency, we will give one medicated pill only, then wait. If you are giving the 10 potency, one medicated pill is enough, or the 30 or 200, whatever it may be. That's depend upon you. That's up to you. But in which potency you are prescribed, that's not the issue, but the minute doses only. Give one medicated pill. If you are prescribing the CM potency, give one medicated pill. If still you are suspecting some aggravation, dissolve that pill in the half glass of water and take 1 spoon only, and ask the patient to discard the remaining water. So that's the criteria, and wait for a few days. If you want the remedy need to be repeated, then you can repeat. Otherwise, it is better not to repeat the remedy. And because of this type of, we are spoiling the cases only because of the repetition, not because of the wrong prescription. Many of the homeopathy doctors spoiling the dermatological condition only because of the unwanted repetition, not because of the wrong prescription. So give 1 dose and wait. That's the criteria in dermatological conditions. Then Diksha have some doubt. You can ask, no issue. And one question by Dr. Rizwana Shahil. How to manage case of tinea cruris? And that is also very important one. It's a very difficult one to manage this type of tinea cruris, but I will give you some good explanation how to manage this type of tinea cruris. A proper method is there. I thought it is very difficult. Just a second. And Tinea cruris, that is made of by the Malassezia purpur. So the medicines are different depending upon the, depending upon the location of the Tinea cruris. Tinea cruris in female, the important remedies are mentioned it as natrum carb, and another important remedy is sepia. The rubric is male, the female eruption, thighs between. That is the rubric. And in male, the remedies are entirely different. Petroleum and rustos are the two important remedies that is mentioned in our repertory and other literature for the Tinea cruris in male patients. So depending upon the sex, the medicines are different. And always remember the Malassezia, this is caused by Malassezia. Tinea cruris is caused by trichophyton group of fungi. So the moisture content that will enhance the growth of this type of fungus. So ask the patient to keep the inguinal region or the axillary region keep dry as much as possible. Otherwise, the fungus will grow with the moisture content. So depending upon the sex, the medicine for the Tinea cruris is different. Remember that. Then by one question by Feba, the cracking of skin on palms and feet with the peeling of skin and discharge of blood and water as an after effect of heavy dose of allopathic medicine for hypothyroidism. What can be done, sir? And if you are very sure about that's caused by the allopathic medication, then there is a rubric in the chapter Generalities, Medicine, Allopathic Abuse of. There is a remedy. And one of the most important remedy in that case that is suitable for your patient in this case is nitric acid. Cracking on the palms with the peeling of the skin, discharge of blood and water. Nitric acid is an important remedy for the side effects of allopathic medication. And other remedies are the Nexomica and sulfur. But in your case, the nitric acid seems to be suitable. Anyway, take the rubric, Generalities, Medicine, Allopathic, Abuse of. Then question by Morissa. Frontal baldness of 4 to 5, 6 years, like exact cause is not known. What is the management in the case of frontal baldness? So we have to find out if there is an etiology or this is regarding his job, his family, if there is any family problem or family stress or familial also. In the case of familial frontal baldness, it seems to be very difficult. But otherwise, we can manage to a great extent depending upon the prescribing based on the totality of symptom. You can try it. And no type of external application will not give any benefit in this type of frontal baldness of 5 to 6 years duration. And by question by Aishwarya, medicine for mosquito rash. That's a very good question. We can easily manage this type of mosquito complaints and note down the rubric. Skin stings of insects. Skin. The chapter in cancer repertory, stinks of insects. The two important remedies that to prevent the constitutional tendency to this type of mosquito bite aggravation, ledum and Arctic urens are the two important remedies mentioned in that rubric. But if the patient has severe acute exacerbation or severe itching after the mosquito bite, then the remedy is caladium. Caladium is the remedy represented below that rubric. Otherwise, in order to prevent the constitutional tendency, we have to take that rubric. Skin stings of insects. Another question by Dr. Rohini. Bony growth on center of forehead, no color changes, cause unknown. As fast as to breast cancer 10 years ago, what rubric can be considered? The rubric for this type of bony growth, that is EXOTOSIS, EXOTOSIS. And the remedies that is mentioned in that rubric, that is calcarea floor, silicea, acidum fluoricum, etc. The remedies for this type of bony growth. So you can take that rubric in addition to the mental journals, physical journals, and particulars of the patient. One question by Dr. Shweta. Cannot start with the lycopodium in chronic disease. First start with another antisoric remedy. This is in Alan Kilon's glycorelations. Sir, what is your opinion about this one? That's mentioned by in our literature that it is better to start with some vegetable remedies like the Nexomica or Bryonia, if that is indicated in the case of lycopodium. But we already we have usually given some remedy that is too indicated the lycopodium. But we found that has got good action also. The criteria is followed by some other physicians in Kerala also prescribing some other medicines or the vegetable remedies before the lycopodium. But without that also we got good result. My question by Dr. Navya. Graphitis, which potency acts well in eczema according to your experience? We are usually giving Zurabartri in order to avoid the aggravation. And the CM potency is also without much aggravation. But anyway, you give the minute dose of LM potency, Zurabartri 1 medicated globule only, or CM potency or 10M potency, whatever it may be, give one medicated pill. And if you still suspect some aggravation, dissolve that in half glass of water and give, or take only 1 teaspoon of water and discard the rest of the water. Then one question by Morisa, the medicine for the chickenpox scar. Can chickenpox scar still be treated after 5 to 6 months? After 5 to 6 months, no issue, but after 1 year or 2 years, it is very difficult. So this type of scar, immediately or within weeks or within months after the complaint, you will get the good result. So for the chickenpox scar, the 2 important remedies are the antimonium crudum and Sarracenia purpurea. These are the 2 important remedies that we found it very effective in the chickenpox scar. So depending upon the disease also, the scar may be different. For the pimples, we already discussed a different type of scar. For the burns, the remedy for the scar mark, that is causticum. For the chickenpox, the 2 important remedies are this Sarracenia purpurea and antimonium crudum. These are the 2 remedies found in effective in chickenpox. Now we have some more time. If you have any doubt, we can ask. So don't worry about the treating the cosmetological complaints or dermatological complaints. You will get definitely good results within the limited time. That's the beauty of the cosmetological or dermatological treatment with the homeopathy. In rheumatological complaints or in tumor case or in cancer case, you need to wait for a long time. But in dermatological, within days or within weeks, you will get the good result, either aggravation or good amelioration. One question by Anjit. We can do anything with the lipoma. Lipoma usually will not do any much harm, and that is usually found in many of the families. Suppose their brother or sister may have this lipoma, and we are usually not advising the patient not to take any medicine for lipoma because that will not cause any cancerous growth, other thing in the future. But if the patient still want to treat the lipoma, especially that of the hand or especially that of the neck or any other area, then we have some good remedies. That is mentioned skin generalities, tumor, lipoma. That's a rubric mentioned in this repertory. And the important remedies are the most important remedy that is mentioned, that is AREATA, carp and lapis albus. But always remember, it will take some more time. It's not so easy to manage the entire lipoma within few weeks or months. Ask the patient to take the medicine for a long time. At least we can prevent the recurrence or further growth of the lipoma. The AREATA carp and lapis albus, these are the 2 remedies that we found useful. And keloid, we already discussed the rubric, but always remember, always advise the patient never to scratch this keloid. That will aggravate. Depending upon the nature of the keloid, we have to prescribe. Generalities, tumor, keloid, that's a rubric. In some repertories, that is mentioned in the chapter skin also. And keloid with the itching, keloid with the pain, etc. Some subrubrics are there. So we have to find out that subrubrics also, if that is available in your patient. Erythroderma, one question by Praveen Raj. That's sir. One question by sir. That's managing the erythroderma and exfoliative dermatitis. So that also we will get a good result, especially the exfoliative dermatitis or mainly that of the palms and soles. In this case also we have to take some specific rubrics depending upon the location. For the exfoliative dermatitis or the desquamation or the cracks of the palms, the remedy is different. Cracks on the soles, the remedy is different. Then the cracks on the feet, the remedy is different. So and the cracks that aggravates in the winter season, the remedy is different. Cracks, deep cracks, the remedy is nitric acid. And the bleeding crack, there are some other group of remedies are there. So that's not a difficult task to treat this type of erythroderma or exfoliative dermatitis. But in this case also, we need to be very careful about the dose and potency. And question by Aishwarya, in case of tinea corporis, how we can assess whether our medicine is correct and working? Tinea corporis, that means mainly on the buttocks area, on the anal area, etc., etc. That means the tinea corporis is usually thicker than that of the tinea corporis, And definitely we have to get the we have to get the improvement for the thickness and also for the itching. These are the two complaints that you usually find in TDM bronchitis. And if the patient, the lesion is, means the thickening is ameliorated and the itching is ameliorated by our remedy, then that means our medicine is acting. I think I should have got the idea. Then one question by neurofibroma. There is a direct rubric available in synthesis report and complete report for this neurofibroma. That's the chapter generalities tumor. Neurofibroma is also not an easy task to cure. It's a very difficult thing to treat this type of neurofibroma. That may take a long time. And we have very few results in neurofibroma also. Now time is 10:23. Okay. So one thing I would assure you that we will get the results within days or within weeks. That's a peculiarity of the treating this type of cosmetological and dermatological complaints. No need to wait for a long time. Only thing, you should be very careful about the dose and potency. Then what else we have to discuss? So there are a lot of things to discuss because of the paucity of time. We are not discussing much. So about the dose and potency, always be careful in which potency is not important, but give it in minute dose. And always advise vitamin C rich fruits, as you've seen in the slide, for the dermatological complaints, and the green leafy vegetables and good sleep. That is also an unavoidable thing to get a good results in the cosmetological complaints. Good sleep is required, green leafy vegetables and vitamin C rich fruits, like the citrus group of fruits. And the medicine is our passion, humanity is our religion. And always remember this thing throughout your life. If you want to get a good results in homeopathy, our case taking should be perfect. If you neglect making a careful case taking, the patient will be the first sufferer, because the patient will not get relief. But in the end, you yourself will suffer from it. That means you will lose a lot of patients, and ultimately the people blame the homeopathy also. So if you have no time, just give a SLNPT and take the case in detail. So our case taking should be perfect. Even though you have a good knowledge, we have a good knowledge in the repertory, material, medical practice of medicine, organ, whatever it may be. If our case taking is not perfect, not complete, we will never get a good result in homeopathy. And always remember the opposite number 5. Useful to the physician in assisting him to cure the particulars of the most probable exciting cause of the acute disease. Hair fall after dengue fever. So that is an exciting cause, hair fall during pregnancy. So exciting cause or the etiology is most important in the case of acute disease. And the whole history of the chronic disease to enable to him to discover in the fundamental cause. In chronic disease, the miasm, the fundamental cause, which is generally due to chronic miasm. So in acute disease, the etiology is more important, but in chronic disease, in this investigation, the ascertainable physical constitution of the patient, intellectual character, his occupation, his mode of living, his habit, his social and domestic relations, his age, sexual functions, etc. to be taken into consideration. That means in dermatology rubrics, we have to take the physical generals, mental generals, and particulars of the patient. Then we will get the decided result. I think everybody is familiar with our website, homeobook.com. And if you have any articles or PowerPoint or any information related to homeopathy, just forward it to our website. And these are all the reference book. If you would like to have some good knowledge in the cosmetology or the dermatology, I would like to recommend this some books. The first book by textbook of dermatology for homeopaths. That's where Dr. M.G. Gupta is an allopathic dermatologist, and R.K. Manjanta, our former CCRS DG. So this is a very concise book. That's a very good book for if you want to have more knowledge about the homeopathic aspect and also the dermatological, because this book is compiled by an allopathic physician and a homeopathic physician. And hair problems answered with the homeopathy, Dr. Shiv Kumar is one of my students in Calicut College. And Farooq J. Master, a book by homeopathic approach to dermatology. And there are so many atlas and other dermatology books are there in market. So if I am recommending the first 2 books, and that's very precise and concise. Still, if you have any question, you can ask. I am ready to have, or we have 2 to 3 minutes are there. And always please visit our website, homoebook.com, and drmansoor.com. That's my personal website. Still, if you have any doubt, you can email me at similima@yahoo.com. And if you want to have more videos or more videos like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is available. Many videos related to homeopathy. Everything is free. So just press the subscribe button. You will get our latest update in your mail also. So that's in brief about the cosmetodermatological conditions. Many more questions are there in the chat box. And one question by Ansira. What about the moles treatment? It is very difficult. The moles are very difficult. We have no good results, 100% result in moles. And dose and potencies in neurofibroma. Usually we are starting with the AREATA carbo 30 and also the lapis albus 3x. Together we are prescribing lapis albus as an adjuvant remedy. And question by Dr. Devesh Majumdar. Sir, please tell me which repertories to follow. No repertory is complete. So cancer repertory is a basic repertory, and the synthesis is also a very good repertory. If you want to work out more mental symptoms, synthesis is very good. But some of the rubrics that we found in the complete repertory, that's a complete dynamics that is not available in the synthesis repertory. So best repertory means the rubrics with the well-represented remedies. Not too much remedies, but with the well-represented remedies. But unfortunately, we have to refer different repertories. Buy any one software and take other repertories as reference. The complete repertory, you can download it freely from the internet. The website, completedynamics.com. You can download it freely. Complete. That's very good repertory. And that's, even though that name is complete, I'm not saying that it's a complete repertory. But if you want to work out more mental symptoms, you will get some good rubrics from the synthesis repertory, and Murphy's repertory is also good for working out with the pathological generals or prescribing on the basis of the location. So that's why we are using multiple repertories, but that is not possible for any student or a practitioner. So purchase any of the softwares, and these repertories are available in many softwares. Is there any homeopathy scope in the pre and post plastic surgery? And I have no experience on the post plastic surgery cases, Dr. Nas, but we prescribed some good remedies for the that advice even for the plastic surgery. Okay. And how to manage a case of tinea infection on face and groin? On the groin, we already discussed it, tinea cruris and tinea corporis. On the face, we have a rubric on the face eruption, herpetic, that's rubric, face eruption herpetic. One of the main remedies is sulfur, followed by the bacillinum, tellurium, etc., and some of the remedies. But we have to refer that rubric and select the most appropriate remedy, face eruption herpetic, that is there. And one question by Sumaya Fatima, that is, can homeopathy help in weight loss? Definitely, but if it is familial, it is very difficult. The father and mother are obese, it is very difficult. And if the obesity is in childhood, that is also very difficult. But otherwise, we can have after the delivery. The most important, one of the most important remedy to reduce the abdominal fat, the belly, and also the weight loss. That is one of the remedies, sepia. And the remedies are different depending upon the age of the patient. For the children, for the adolescent, the remedies are different. So take the rubric: generality, obesity, woman in, obesity pregnancy after, then obesity of the thigh and the legs are thin, then enlarged abdomen of mothers after delivery. There are different rubrics are there. But it is better to advise some abdominal exercise also. If you want to reduce the abdominal belly, along with our remedy, the most important two remedies are sepia and iodine after the delivery, because our ladies are not doing any work after a few months after the delivery. That may be the reason for the fat deposition. And always remember that the umbilicus is the area where the fat deposition start first. That is why we all have the heavy bellies. The umbilicus is the area where the fat deposition start first. So we have to advise the abdominal exercise also. along with our remedy, then that will definitely you will get the weight loss. But familial, it's very difficult. But after some medication, some after hormonal imbalance or hormone treatment or infertility treatment, we'll get a definite result. The most important remedy after this type of hormonal treatment, the patient get obese. Then the remedy is sepia and followed by cortisone. These are the two remedies that we found. So to select the rubrics, sub-rubrics. I think, Sumia, you got some idea about how to manage. Then, okay, Sumia. And then Dr. Manish, I think the time is over.
Yes, I think so.
And I am sure,
yes.
Yeah, and dear students, I am sure, I think you got an overall idea on it is very easy to manage this type of cosmetological and dermatological treatments. There are many other things that we have to discuss that we can discuss in some other times, or you can email me. That is not an issue. So my intention is that means we can cure the cosmetological or dermatological conditions with our simple remedies by prescribing simply on the basis of the totality and by selecting some specific rubric. So once again, I would like to thank our principal, your principal, the Praveen Raj sir, my dear friend, and also the student council and Mr. Manish and other students and student council members for inviting me to share some ideas with you. And I'm wishing you all the best in homeopathy. You should be a good practitioners in homeopathy. So that's all for the time being. Thank you and God bless you.
I like to invite Saikir and Ragam for the vote of thanks. Over to you, Saikir.
Coming to the end of the session, it was a very interesting and informative session from you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Mansoor, sir, for sharing your valuable knowledge with all of us. On behalf of Alva Homeopathic Medical College.
Okay, good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for the session. Thank you, sir.